I think.
There it is.
Welcome to LOTC Presents Black Glove Mysteries, where every other Friday we will take you on a journey through Italian cinema, specifically giallo, but we reserve the right to take other avenues, such as the poliziotteschi, such as spaghetti westerns, and Eurocrime films. Either way, you will hear and now see us every other Friday talking Italian cinema. This is episode 430. It's double 63 if you're keeping up. And I'm your host, GregaMortis, along with Ian Irza. What's up, Ian?
You know that girl, the tall one with the wig? Tell her that I will give her 100,000 lira if she'll come and have a drink with us. Do you think she'll join us? I wouldn't be surprised. It isn't every day that some idiot offers 100,000 lira just to have a drink with them.
This is going to be epic. We're looking at Fernando Di Leo's second of the, I guess they're called the Milano trilogy or the Millie trilogy. Uh,
Milan Milieu.
yes, there you go. I can't say it again.
Yep.
Milieu.
Milan Milieu. Yep.
There it is. So last episode we looked at the first of those, and then this episode we are going to be looking at 1972's Italian Connection, and super excited, man. First time watch for me, and wow, I can understand, and we'll get into some Quentin Tarantino, I'm sure, but I can understand why this is a staple in his life, man. This is going to be a blast. So buckle up, buttercups, because this is going to be a fun ride. One of the most epic chase scenes in cinema history, and we're going to talk about that for sure.
My absolute favorite chase scene. Yeah.
Dude, I cannot. I'm looking back in my memory of like chase sequences in films, and there are some. Let's say when I go back like the French Connection, for sure. There's a few that are really good, but man, even when you get into like oh, what was the planet? Not Planet Terror, but God dang it, I always forget the daggone the trilogy over there. Uh,
Oh
dag
yeah, Death Proof. Death
Thank you,
Proof.
Death
Yeah.
Proof. Good God, buh. But anyways, like there are some of those good chase scenes. This one right here, man. Oh my God, we'll get into it. But like I said, if you're new to the show, welcome. You can hear this on any audio podcast platform available. It's over on Land of the Creeps, and we call this section LOTC Presents, and that's where Ian and I get together every other Friday, and we look at Italian cinema, as I mentioned at the beginning. So, welcome to everyone that joined to watch us now over on YouTube. I know some of my coworkers have checked us out. uh,
Awesome.
yeah, it's something new that we've started doing, man, and it's something that I hope that you, the listeners, are digging. Share it, man. Like it and share it, man. I want you to share this with everyone. Every other Friday, you can come right to this YouTube channel and check us out talking Italian cinema. I'd really deeply appreciate it. And if you don't have time to watch it, you can put it in your earbuds and listen to us via any podcast platform. It's part of the Land of the Creeps podcast. So with that said, it's super exciting, Ian. We're back and we're going to get into this. Like I said, it's episode 430, and we're moving right along. Our next episode of LOTC is going to be 431, which is going to be our Vincent Price top five. We're going to narrow those down, which, wow, how can you do that with Vincent Price? But we're here to talk Italian cinema. And I got to give a big shout out because it was my birthday a couple days ago, or 3 or 4 days ago, whatever it was. And my boy over here, Ian, man, hooked me up for my birthday. And I got to share this for you, the listeners, man, and viewers, man. He hit me up with this one right here. And this one's what MGM, so it's a Kino Labor, and it's a fistful of dynamite. And I've never seen this, Rob Steiger. I am so excited about this. And James Coburn, man, holy crap, dude. This thing, I can't wait, Ian. And then you got me the Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman. I've heard so much about this. I've never watched it. I have never seen Marathon Man. And then you got me over here with the Specialist. There you go, the Specialist, man. And I'm assuming this is a spaghetti western. It's,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, it's a Sergio Corbucci spaghetti western.
nice. Dude, man, it reminds me, I know y'all probably can't see that too well, but it reminds me some of maybe like a little bit of the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns there. And then here is De Leo, who we're talking about, and it's Slaughter Hotel. Kaboom. Yes. Yeah.
Considered one of the sleaziest Giallo movies ever made, like right up there with New York Ripper and stuff like that.
I love sleaze, and I'm gonna be excited, and I really appreciate Ian, Ian for sure.
Yeah, anytime. Happy
And
birthday.
Thank you. And then my wife hooked me up with Butcher Baker and Nightmare Maker from Severn Films, which I'm super excited. I love this movie. There you go. I love this slasher film, and yeah. So she
Bo
got that.
Svensson Bo
Yes,
Svensson is so great in it, and his level of homophobia in that movie is like just so disturbing.
it
Like
is.
it's funny, you watch the movie for a little while and think, oh, Susan Terrell's going to be the main villain of this movie, and it's like Bo Svensson's arguably even worse than she is in that
Oh,
movie.
way, way worse.
Yeah.
And then she picked me up Lucio Fulci's The House by the Cemetery 4K from Arrow Videos. Man, so excited on that one. I've got it, but I've got it on like a DVD from back in the day. And then Cauldron, City of the Living Dead 4K. Such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful movie, man. I cannot wait to crack that open and see what Cauldron did with that. And then I love the Bosom Mania section that Severn released recently from Russ Myers. Oh my God. And this is Motor Psycho, man. So I'm going to get into this Motor Psycho right here from Russ Myers. That goes with my collection, the Vixen trilogy. And I got one more of those to pick up. So, anyways, it's been a really good birthday. I've got a lot of other stuff, man. My son came in, gave me a Halloween 5 Michael Myers mask. It looks insane. And
Oh,
Alexa,
the Don Shanks mask that has the long neck on it. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And he picked it up from Trick or Treat Studios. He got me that. I've got a Lex Luger. He knows Lex Luger's my favorite wrestler. He got me a Lex Luger wrestling figure that I'm gonna set up here with the NWO belt. It's just all kinds of good stuff. It was a great birthday. But anyways, we're here to talk Italian cinema. I'm gonna quit boring you guys. But here we go. So we are doing these, and this is the Fernando Di Leo. I've got the set that Ian gifted me for Christmas last year, and we are doing the Italian Connection. We did Caliber 9 last week. Ian's got the cool single edition there from Raro Video, which is awesome to have them in individual. What? Uh, like we always like to do, we're going to head over to you, Ian, let you give us a plot synopsis, and then we'll start breaking this big fat puppy down.
Okay, so I'm just going to take this from the back of the Blu-ray. It says the second film in Fernando Di Leo's Milieu trilogy focuses on Luca Canali, a small-time mobster and pimp who has been set up by his gangland boss. When a shipment of heroin disappears between Italy and New York, Canali is framed for the theft. Canali is pursued through Milan by a pair of merciless American hitmen played by Henry Silva and Woody Strode, and referenced by Quentin Tarantino in Pulp Fiction, who mistakenly believe that he has stolen a drug shipment. After his wife is murdered, the hunted becomes the hunter as Canali takes revenge on his boss, the hitman, and everyone else who stands in his way.
Boom. Typical, let's just say it's a typical story in Italian cinema. The heroin got stolen. That hasn't happened before, right, Ian? It's like
Right.
the drugs, always the drugs.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting about the Leo's movies is his movies focus more on the mob and the mafia. Like there are no cops in this movie to speak of. Like in the first movie, we did have some,
Yeah.
but they were definitely on the periphery. Whereas this, there's nothing. It's just about, like they say, a small time pimp basically versus the mafia, and it is the absolute epitome. This movie is the absolute epitome of the one man against the world idea that this genre is built on, because Luca has nowhere to turn in this movie. As soon as he's framed for what he's done, like no one's there to help him. He has one friend who he thinks is helping him, but then maybe not so much. So
Right.
like everybody he goes to this mechanic for help to try to get him a gun, which he does technically get a gun from
He
him,
does.
but yeah. And
Don't do
then
no
he
good without
goes,
bullets.
yeah, the only one who kind of arguably helps him is one of his prostitutes, sex workers, whatever you want to call them. I think that might be the more proper term nowadays. But Trini is the one I'm talking about,
Yeah.
whereas the one played by Femi Benuzzi is a little bit less inclined. They actually have a little bit of an argument earlier in the film where she's like, "I want my own house." That's what she's talking about. She's like, "I want my own house." And he's like, "You don't bring in enough money," which I don't know how Femi Benuzzi is not bringing in enough money for you, but yeah. But we do see what I like about this movie early on is we do see that Luca can handle himself. He gets into a fight with I think it's Giovanni Cianfriglia, I think is his name.
Yeah.
And he he's a guy we've seen several times, but he's like a big, formidable dude. And Luca just takes both him and his friend out pretty easily. So it tells you, okay, this guy can handle himself.
Hmm.
If a mafia don's going after this guy, he's probably going to have his hands full. And boy, does he. And
Yeah.
what I like is how Luca finds his way in and out of certain situations in different ways. Like in the first scene where he's cornered by two guys, he has to fight them. Then the second time, he kind of has to use his wits a little bit more by waiting for the right moment to pull the gun, throwing the gun at one guy, and then shooting the other. Then the third one kind of combines that, where he finally goes to Don Trasoldi's place, and he basically disguises himself as a janitor to get the drop on them. That's again him using his wits. But then he eventually uses the gun to take a bunch of them out. So
Yeah.
Luca does a good job of combining all of them, and then you have the amazing car chase right in the middle.
Woo.
Um,
Mm.
about an hour into the movie, which what's so great about the car chase is it's not just a car chase. It is a four-stage chase, right? It's
Yeah.
first starts in the car, then they get out of the one car, he pursues him through this sort of pool area, then the other guy gets into another vehicle and he hangs on the front of the vehicle, which is an amazing stunt.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Mario Adorf is doing all of the stunt work. I think some of the long shots, maybe someone else, but he's definitely doing some of it.
Yeah.
I know that in the bonus feature, they talked about how they changed the frame rate. They would film it and then ramp it up so that it looked a lot faster than it really was. So there's probably some of the close-ups where it definitely is Adorf doing it. He deserves a lot of credit for that. Then that he manages to stop him in the car, and they go and he pursues him into this amusement park where they end up having a big fight, and he ends up stabbing him in the neck with this like big like stake, like for a tent, basically, I think is what
Yeah.
it looks like.
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was brutal. And I knew it was going to have to because that chase sequence was so epic. Like it was like the ending battle had to match it, right? It had to do something
yeah,
to hit the flavor of what was
the
going
the
on.
junkyard scene.
Oh God. Which by the way, the poster art is a total spoiler with the
Yeah,
green. Like
I'm
I'm like,
looking at it now.
yeah, I'm like, bro, what the hell? Like you just got it right on the freaking frame right there. But anyways, man, that chase sequence is awesome. And then, like you said, with the tent stake, whatever it was brutal. It was, and it matched the chase. So I was like, it was a great payoff. It was worth staying for the whole ride. And I thought they nailed it, man. I thought the crash sequences. There's a scene where the one vehicle has kind of got another one in front of them down this narrow road, and the crash through that is everything about it was
I
awesome.
love the part because I think that underpass, that like sort of underpass that leads right to the water, I
Mm,
think that that's reused in Shoot First Die Later. I think Di Leo obviously loves shooting in Milan, and I think he reused a lot of the same areas. I think if you're paying attention to some of these movies, you can see them. Um, but yeah, the chase scene is just, I mean, I don't think there's ever been another like there are good stakes to it because we just saw his wife and his daughter get killed.
yeah,
So then you have the part when he takes off after him. So there's stakes to it because you want to see him get his revenge. But then it goes, like I said, it just goes through so many different stages where it's a really good car chase. It's a really good foot chase. And I can't think of another movie where I've seen someone hanging on the front of a car like that,
right.
where he doesn't even have any leverage. He's literally just standing up
Yeah,
on the front of the car because it's not one of those cars that has like more vertical hood. It's completely horizontal. It's one of those like Volkswagen type vehicles.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. And here's the thing, like I did read, I think IMDb actually, and whether that's true or not, in some of the trivia they talked about how that Mario did all the stunts. So I'm assuming that means every stunt. I'm agreeing with you.
you may
Maybe there
have.
were a few, those longer shots, maybe they didn't. But according to IMDb, he did all his own stunts, which I thought's epic, man. That's freaking awesome. And he done so good in this. We loved him in Caliber 9. I thought,
Yeah,
he was a sleazy character. You didn't want to root for him. He was not a likable character. In this one, you want to root for him because of what's going on. He's not the nicest of people. He's not a model citizen, But once you start watching the film and you see what he's been going through and what he's having to do, and then the death of his wife and child right in front of his eyes, then you become his fan. You're like, man, this guy needs to get his revenge, and he just crushed it, man.
Well, even if he's a pimp and not necessarily a good guy, like he doesn't deserve to get framed. Like no one
Right,
deserves that, you know.
right.
So regardless of if you don't like him at the beginning, it's like, well, you want to see him get out of the situation because there's no, he doesn't deserve that. I think that they do try to have a good moment between him and Trini. Like I think she
Mhm.
says something like, I can't remember what she says, like you paid my medical bills or you helped me out in this one situation. There was something she said something about that. I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't know if you remember, but
I don't right off my head, but I know where you're talking about.
yeah, there's a scene where she's like, you helped me out just out of the goodness, like she's like, because you're a good guy or something like that. So it establishes that he seems to be fair with his women, and he does a good job protecting them, as we see in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So at least if he's a pimp, he's not a bad one. We'll say that much.
I thought Trini was a great character, Francesca Romana Coluzzi. Uh, Beautiful lady and very likable in this movie.
Yeah. She actually was one of the few people from the movie that was in the little bonus feature,
Oh,
the small bonus feature, and she said that Fernando Di Leo was a human first before he was a director. So she said that he was kind of an even better person than he was a director, and she said she really liked working with Adorf.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah.
We do have in here now, we do have the character you mentioned of Woody Strode, who plays Frank, and then you got Henry Silva playing David Catania, and they're the New York hitmen that are sent in to kind of take out Luca Canali. And my wife hates Henry Silva. She says, just that face. She just does not like Henry Silva, and I love
There's something to his face
it.
where he should not smile.
Ever.
Like he just there's something about the way he smiles.
Mhm.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the way David Hess smiles, truth be told. But
Yeah.
Henry Silva, like when he smiles, it's like you look at him and it's like he shouldn't smile. It almost looks like he's physically in pain to smile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every time you see him, he has like one facial expression. It never changes.
Well,
Yeah.
what
But
DeLeo said in the bonus feature was he was like, he has three facial expressions. You could just mold his face, and he wouldn't. You could just mold those facial
uh,
expressions, and he wouldn't ever have to show up on set. You could just use the face molds, and you
yeah,
wouldn't even have to show up.
I love it. We know now that Quentin Tarantino has mentioned that he kind of patterned the characters of Woody and Henry. He kind of patterned them over with his infamous movie, right? We gotta love Pulp Fiction, man. It's such a great movie. And
Yeah, but
John
the
Travolta.
Jules and Vincent characters
Yes,
from Pulp Fiction with John Travolta and Sam Jackson. Yeah,
total
yeah,
nod.
I can you can see it for sure.
And I love it. I love it. But these two characters, they're fun in this movie. They're stone face. I love Trini is actually there's a scene in the club. It's like a dance nightclub, strip club, whatever you want to call it. Which Fernando does another one of those just weird sequences where he just puts like a naked woman dancing in the middle of the movie. But there's the sequence where Trini's talking to David and Frank, and she's like, I don't like you talking about David. I like him. And basically says, I'll go sleep with you right now and I'll give you the information you want. And then, David's like, no, you give us the information first. She gives him the information and Woody just jumps up
Well,
and bang and he's gone.
Woody's the one who convinces her. He's like, okay, if he doesn't come to this club, which club does he come to? Because
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I can use this to my advantage. But the very funny thing is between the characters is like Frank is all stoic and all business like,
Yep.
whereas Henry Silva's like, I want to have fun while we're here. Like, I want to have fun while we're on vacation. There's a moment between them early on where he's like, like when he sees Luciana Paluzzi when she leaves the room,
Mm.
and Henry Silva's like, man, there's a lot of good looking broads here in Milan. We're gonna have a fun time, and uh, and Frank is like, keep your hands in your pockets if any of these girls approach you. We're here on business. And then he's like, all right, all right, all right. But he's like, I want to have fun though while we're
Yeah.
here. And even when they pull up to all the
The hookers.
prostitutes,
Yeah, the
yeah,
prostitute. Yeah.
when he's like, he starts he literally he creates the Oprah meme before Oprah even
Uh,
did it. Oprah is a hack. You
yeah.
know, the Oprah when she's like, you get a car, you get a car.
Yeah.
He's like, he's doing the whole, you get money, you get money, you get money, until one of them tries to take his wallet, which is,
Right.
and I don't know how well it would fly nowadays, but technically that woman hits him first,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
he hits her back.
Right.
But yeah,
And I'm sitting here like thinking in that sequence, like he's got all these women around him, he's having fun, he's laughing, he's giving everybody money. Why would you be so greedy to grab the wallet? Like, dude, you're giving money and then you're going to take the wallet. And of course that
right.
flips him. He's like, nope, instantly. He's like, yeah, you're going to get hurt. And that's such a weird sequence. But man, it's such a fun movie to watch. I was really enjoying the story in this one. I like the cast in this one a lot. I really love Luca Mario Adorf. I thought he was phenomenal in this movie. He was the tough guy, and then we have the sequence where he's on the run and he's trying to hide. He has nowhere to go because everybody recognizes him. So we got those moments where he's scared, he's fearing for his life. So you got all these emotions running through this movie, and he just crushes every freaking one of them. The women are excellent in this movie. It's just a enjoyable film from start to finish, in my opinion.
And I think DeLeo injects a little bit less of his political stuff in here. I think in this, he's just making a more entertaining movie. Really, the only political thing you get, at least to me, is the part when you see like the poster of JFK
Yeah,
and Che Guevara, where it says something like "You're in heaven now" or something like, like it's I can't remember exactly what it is, but yeah, that's like the only political moment you kind of get is him comparing JFK and Che Guevara
yeah,
with the poster.
that's right.
But yeah, it's just an entertaining movie, one man against the world type of movie all the way through. And I love it. I mean, once it gets going, it doesn't stop. So
Yeah, Adolfo Celi, he plays the Don Vito Trisoldi, the Don of the one group. Man, I like his character. You don't want to root for him either. And then what happens to him, his demise is awesome. I thought they done a great job with that. Let's look into the music of this movie. What do you think of the music by Armando Travali?
very different score from the first movie, and I think it goes with the fact that this is a very different movie. A lot of percussion, a lot of bass in there, especially during the chase scenes. A lot of brass, especially the main theme. I think it's a very what you may call it, identifiable
Hmm.
main theme. Like it sticks with you when you hear it,
It definitely
and
does.
they use it as a leitmotif of different instruments throughout the film too.
Yeah, which I appreciated the change up in that one. The last episode with Caliber 9, it become a little monotonous. This one didn't. It was just like it was handled really well. Not that the last one was bad, but this one I just really thoroughly enjoyed that. And the cinematography by Franco Villa, movies, there's a lot of those chase sequences, a lot of those things. I thought they done really well with that. The story is strong. I just really like the story in this one, man. It's simple, heroin drugs stolen, and you got a setup, and then so it's not like that convoluted, like all these different parts, but it works, man. It just really works. I thought it just rolled really well. So, super fun movie. And I don't know if you watched the Italian. I watched the English dubbed version of this one, and it matched well in this one. And you probably have some information on that one. But it didn't. The last movie when I was watching it, we talked about this, how that the subtitles are still up there and it's kind of distracting because what they're saying is not exactly what is being portrayed in the Italian. In this one, it was fairly close, to be honest.
I did not have the subtitles on, so I wouldn't know for
Okay.
sure.
It was really
Uh,
close.
yeah, okay. Well, that's good to know that it was, because Milan Caliber 9, I think, was definitely a little different, especially in those political scenes between the cops. I think they had to change it to make it a little bit more, let's say, acceptable for mainstream English speaking audiences. So I think that they had to change it. Whereas in this, there wasn't maybe as much of a reason.
Well, the background of that one was this was like four different languages going on, they said in the movie, and they ended up English was the main language they used for the filming of this movie. So that's
That
why
that might be why, and the fact that you actually have two English speaking, well, technically you have three English speaking people in the movie, but two who are the main star, two who are arguably the main stars.
yeah.
Cyril Cusick plays the he actually does some voice dubbing, and he's actually playing a role in this, which is really cool.
Of course so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Corso. I like him at the beginning, when he's like, dress American, act American, drink a lot, leave big tips, and put your feet up on the table, chew gum all the time, do your best to look like a couple of gangsters.
Oh, and I text you in the middle of this movie, man. The bottle placement of J&B is so perfect in this one, to the point that they always made sure if they're pouring a bottle of J&B out, the label is completely turned toward camera frame. Every frame of a J&B bottle is perfectly framed in this one, as well as you were talking. What's it called? The
Punta Mess.
Punta
Yeah,
Mess cigarettes.
yeah.
Those
No,
are.
no, that's not a cigarette.
I mean, the liquor.
It's a vermouth. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's also some cigarettes that are placed perfectly. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a weird name. But anyways,
Wasn't Aster, was it?
it wasn't Astor. It was
No, that's
another name.
surprising.
Yeah,
It's usually always Aster for these movies.
right. But they made sure that all the placements of these things were just like very visible, especially the J&B bottle. It's very placid, and I get a kick out of that anytime they do that. It's really funny. Lucia Canali, who plays uh, Adolf, or if you want to call him Luca, Luca's character is his wife, Silva Cosna. She really didn't have a big part in this one.
No, not too much. I mean, she was kind of just there.
Mhm.
Interestingly enough, this was somewhat later in her career because she was in like Hercules in the 50s. So she was in a lot of Peplum movies, and
Mhm.
she was in a lot of Euro spy movies before this. She kind of started in the industry when she was a bit younger. She's almost 40. By the time she's in this, she still looked great. Still looks great though.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of good stuff in this one, man. You got anything in the dubbing corner?
So yes, so I have Robert Spafford is dubbing Adolfo Celli as Don Trasoldi. Susan Spafford is dubbing Luciana Paluzzi as Ava. Let's see here. Trini. So that would be, she's dubbed by Carolyn DeFonseca. Francesca Romana Calizzi. Franco Fabrizi as Enrico, the mechanic, I think is dubbed by Michael Forrest. Or no, Ed Mannix.
Okay.
Yeah, Ed Mannix. So I some of these other ones I don't really have character or actor names because they're kind of blink and you miss it roles. But
Yeah.
Ed Mannix is also dubbing. So there's two henchmen that first corner Luca. He ends up beating them up inside of this area with where there's a bunch of wood laying around. He uses a 2x4, much to his advantage. Ed Mannix is dubbing one of those henchmen. William Keel is dubbing the other one. His friend is it Nicolo Gianni Macchia?
Hmm.
He is dubbed by, let's see here, Larry Dolgan. I recognize that voice right away. Um, Giuseppe Castellano, who's one of the henchmen that you see in the mechanic scene,
Hmm.
is dubbed by Robert Summer. We saw him in the last movie. He had like amber glasses on in the last movie,
Yeah.
and he got killed during that. I think one of those exchange scenes.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then I did want to go over the cast, and I wanted to. Uh, I might be a little slow with this, so please bear with me. I wanted to debut a new segment, and I wanted to see what you thought of it.
Okay.
I thought about doing something where we rank people that we've seen in other movies before, and
Okay.
it's like if we've seen them in two movies, we call them an all-star for Black Glove Mysteries. If we see them in three movies, we call them a superstar. If we've seen them in four movies, we call them a Hall of Famer. And then if we've seen them in five, which that does not apply to anyone in this movie, they're an all-time great. What do you think of that?
I'm all down for it, man.
Yeah. Because I mean, think about someone like George Eastman. He is an all-time great for the show.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's been in
absolutely.
so many movies. So I'll start with Mario Adorf. He is actually officially a Hall of Famer now because we've
Yep.
seen him in Bird with the Crystal Plumage. What have they done to your daughters? Short Night of the Glass Dolls, Caliber 9. Actually, so now he's an all-time great because that's 5 movies. Um, Henry Silva, I think this is only the third movie we've seen him in because we did Cry of a Prostitute
Hmm.
and well, no, this would be just the second one, I think, or no, third because Escape from the
Yeah.
Bronx.
Hmm.
So so he's a superstar now, but he will be a Hall of Famer for in our next episode, and then he'll be even further a little later on
Yeah.
because there's definitely one particular movie that I know we're going to cover from him.
Uh,
Woody Strode, this is his second movie, so he's an all star. We saw him in Once Upon a Time in the West.
hmm.
He's one of the three opening guys who gets killed at the beginning. Adolfo Celli, all star for being in Who Saw Her Die. Luciana Paluzzi. I don't think we've actually seen her in anything else.
I
Now that I
didn't
think about it,
recognize her. Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
recognize her.
yeah. So there's a Bond connection here
Mhm.
because Adolfo Celli plays Tresoldi is the main villain in Thunderball,
Yeah.
and Luciana Paluzzi is the villainess in Thunderball. So they interact a lot in that movie, and
Okay.
that was about 8 years or so before this. So now I'll move on. I'm just trying to think of some of the others. Femi Benuzzi, she is two, two. So now this is their fourth movie because we
Okay.
did So Sweet, So Dead,
Yeah.
uh, Italian Connection, and Strip Nude for Your Killer. So three, sorry. So she is a superstar. She'll probably end up being a Hall of Famer someday as well because there
Mm.
might be some more movies that we'll cover with her. Sylvia Koshina, we saw her in So Sweet, So Dead and Crimes of the Black Cat. So right now she is a superstar of Black Love Mysteries. And then Giuseppe Castellano, we've seen him in some stuff before. I know we have Caliber 9, Bird with the Crystal Plumage. So he is also a superstar. He'll end up being way up there too by
Oh
the
yeah.
time we're done.
Oh yeah.
Uh, then I want to see if I can find Giovanni Cianfriglia. I know we've seen him and stuff.
Hmm.
So Escape from the Bronx, 2019 after the fall of New York. And now this one. So he's also a superstar and he'll end up being more than that as we go along as well. How did I do with that?
I like it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to take notes and keep up with all these. I love it.
Well, it was just something I randomly thought of, and I kind of took it a little bit. I didn't take it directly because I made my own refinements to it.
Yeah.
The Grind Bin podcast, shout out to them. They'll do something where if they've seen someone in more than one movie, or if they've seen them in several, they'll be like, "Oh, he's a Hall of Famer for our show or an All Star for our show." So
Yeah.
they don't designate the number of movies or anything like I did though.
Okay.
So I'm kind of borrowing it, but I put my own little spin on it just because I thought it was cool and it'll allow us to keep track of who we've seen before and how many movies we've seen them in.
I love it. Yeah, that George Eastman will definitely.
Oh yeah, he's how many movies have we done with him? Like seven.
Seven at least, I
Yeah.
think. Rightfully so. We love George Eastman.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, well, I love that, man. Let's see what else we got in this movie. Once again, the chase sequence is the just the chef kiss to the sky, man. I'm telling you, it's such a great sequence. If you're like, I don't have much time, just watch the chase sequence and just be blown away with that alone.
I think you can find just the chase sequence on YouTube if you look
Oh,
it
I'm
up
sure.
too.
I'm totally sure. Let's see what else we got in this one. Music we did. We did the uh a lot of the cast, the release. Now this thing did release a few times on video back in the day, and this was released on three different titles. Yeah, three different titles. It was released under Hired to Kill, as well as Black Kingpin, and then Hitmen, and then Hit Men. So four different releases on home video back in the day that this movie released on in the United States. We also know that in this movie, um, the cast itself is very Italian, but there's also some English. So there is that English dub version that you can get on this set that we have right here, or the one that Ian has where he has the solo disc. And once again, if you haven't watched the last episode, this set from Kino or from Raro actually has individual discs. So it's not just one disc, right? So it has four movies. So I really love that. But this thing right here, man, is such a gold masterpiece. Love this movie, brother. I love this movie, but it does come under a lot of different names. So I love that. I love it. The English dub
Manhunt, and
version.
Milan is another one I've heard too. That's yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of different ones. Manhunt in the City, Manhunt in Milan for sure. La Mala Ordina, the mob orders. So it's like it could go under a million names, but either way, it's called the epic chase sequence. It's like this is so fun. What else you got on this one, brother?
Another moment I love is when Trisoldi and Dave and Frank encounter the two henchmen that Luca beats up at first, and Dave has this nice rant Henry Silva does where he's like, oh, he flew away like a little bird over the rainbow. And then he's like, you rest assured he'll be back in his cage tonight. And he's like, a man who surrounds himself with shit is shit. You gotta, he's like, you gotta strike the fear into them like an open wound, and then he ends up killing them.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. I mean, they go. I think this movie does try to say that Adolfo Celli as John Trasoldi is kind of an idiot because what does he do instead of like kidnapping his family? He decides he's going to kill them. And I'm thinking to myself, well, wouldn't this be better to use them as a bargaining chip instead of just
Yeah.
killing them? Because at that point, he has nothing left to lose. So to me, I'm like, that's not a very good decision. You're just going to make him more angry at you.
Right.
So, and like, I understand he's like, I need to kill this guy. So I need to draw him out. But
Mhm.
his whole plan is stupid. And then he doesn't have nearly enough men at his own headquarters to guard him. Like he has like what, four guys there? Like
Yeah.
that's not enough. Like what are you
No.
doing?
Well, that's just it. Like if you're a Don and you're of a what do you call it? Like a mobster family, you should have a family. Like dude, this dude either he's just a really small time gangster or he just does not have anybody that backs him. I would think you would have a force. Like you would have multiple people on your, but evidently not. I
And then
guess.
I do think he tries to inject some comedy into this at points. Like I remember when Silva leaves the room at one point when they meet Don Trasoldi, he talks to like that big guy with the kind of he kind of has a rough looking face. He's like, next time I'll give you a bone or something. And he's like, fuck you. And then there's that one woman who's always around like the hotel who's like, are they Swedish? So there's some comedy I think he tried to
Yeah.
inject into this, just some moments of levity a little bit more than in Milan Caliber 9, because I don't think there were many moments at all that were funny besides the stuff with the cops that I think is a little unintentionally funny, maybe, or just a little over the top.
Yeah,
But
this was pretty straight laced, man, and I like
yeah.
it. Yeah. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff, man. Um, let's see. What else? You got anything else you want to talk about? And then we'll get to ratings. We still got a voicemail to get to. Um, anything else you want to talk on this one?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, let's play this. Well, let's go ahead and go to our ratings first, and then we'll go to the voicemail and we'll talk about that. Man, I'm ready to go ahead and rate this thing. It's a 10. Like this is a first time viewing. This is a 10. Uh, I can't think of anything that I would have changed much more than what they given us in this one. So for me, yeah, chef kiss. What you got on this one?
Yeah, I'm also giving it a 10. I mean, I wasn't entirely sure. I don't know if I like it quite as much as I do Milan Caliber 9, but they're
Mhm.
they're both very different movies. This one I think is a little bit more action oriented. Milan Caliber 9 is more sort of mystery dialogue tension oriented. So
Yeah.
they're definitely different kind of films, but I would also give this one a 10. I mean, there's a reason why I said we should do each of these movies just as one movie for
Right.
the episodes. I think that they were worthy of it for sure.
Yeah. What bonus features did you have on your disc?
Just that one documentary called Alla Origini della Mala, which I think means something like the origin of mafia films or something like that.
It's like a 50-minute or something, right? It's
It's
pretty.
20 minutes. It's
Yeah,
not
20
that
minutes.
long, but
Yeah.
it was fairly interesting. I mean, Di Leo and some of the others were on it. I thought it was a fairly interesting, sort of a short documentary.
Cool. What we're going to do now, we're going to go to our caller here, which you'll recognize from the last episode. We love Luke. So we're going to play that. There may be some spoilers in this one. So if you've not seen the movie, go ahead and watch the movie and then come back and listen to this. But let's go to it, Ian, and we'll comment on this.
Hey guys, Luke Irza calling with a review of the Italian Connection movie. Uh, let's see. I guess initially I thought it was kind of funny. Silva and Strode, those characters, are cast as like typical American gangsters. Uh, but what the guy who hires him, the Italians think of what a typical American gangster is. You know, put your feet up on the table, chew gum a lot, you know, whatever. I mean, I found that kind of funny, because I would think that some gangsters are like that and some are not. But that was his interpretation of what American gangster should look like to these Italian people. Anyway, so I also see a parallel between the Silva and Strode characters in this movie and the characters Travolta and Jackson play in Pulp Fiction. Jackson in Pulp Fiction and Strode in this movie seem to play pretty serious hitmen, while the Travolta character and Silva, they're committed to completing, you know, the hit or the contract, but also, you know, have a little bit of fun in the process. I didn't see the need to kill Luca's wife and daughter. I know that it draws Luca out and things, but I don't know. I didn't see it coming, and I didn't really see the need to do that. I mean, maybe kidnap them, hold them, something, but I don't know. Sometimes it seems like these films resort to let's just kill and move on. And then lastly, I guess Silva always seems to have he always seems to be very comfortable in his roles, and he has a certain presence on scene in any scene that he has. So I find, you know, a new appreciation for his ability to act, I suppose. Hey, man, have a good show, guys.
There you go, Luke. I love it, love it. I totally agree with what he's talking about with Henry Silva, man. He does have that ability to just steal a scene, and you love it. Just he feels comfortable in a
Well,
film.
in this, he's playing a little bit more of a different character from what we've seen him do before. So, I mean, he's actually, well, in Escape from the Bronx, he kind of played a similar character where he is a bit over the top and a bit of a scene chewer, a scenery chewer. But when we saw him in Cry of a Prostitute, he was playing a hitman who was a little bit more stoic and a little quieter. So in this one, I like the fact that he went back to being a little bit more funny and trying to have fun within the serious moments. He's one of my favorites for sure. I think he's my fifth favorite actor of all time if I had to rank them. So
Yeah, I would be right in there. And also something with his fight sequences. There's this comedian. Some of you will probably know who I'm talking about. And I think it was like on TikTok, Instagram, something like that. But anyways, he would do this judo chop. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
It's a hilarious, man. It's comedian. Well, every time I see Henry Silva fight, he always does these little like judo chop. I can't help but chuckle. Even Pearl will tell you, like when I'm watching a movie, every time I'd go judo chop. And he
I
would
mean, yeah, I can see that for sure. I do think he looks somewhat believable though in the fight scenes in terms of being able to handle himself.
He could definitely handle
Um,
it.
but yeah, I mean that was just a way movies they fought in movies back then too. Was in general. I mean, Roger Moore in the James Bond movies is really famous for that judo chop type thing where that's all he does in his fight scenes. And obviously, Captain Kirk from Star Trek was famous for doing the same stuff too. That's just the way the fight scenes were done back then was
Yeah.
judo chops, and I'm just going to throw you across the room with a few grappling moves and stuff like that. It wasn't, and in the 90s, we entered into the Harrison Ford era where it was just two guys are punching each other and one's trying to punch each other harder than the other. That's every Harrison Ford fight scene. So it just depends on the movie and the time where the fight scenes were kind of like that. But the
Yeah.
judo chop is a big thing. I mean, Austin Powers made fun of it for a reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
wonder if it was like maybe easier to train because you don't have to throw punches and you could throw a punch and knock somebody out right by accident. I think doing the judo chops or the chops or whatever, maybe it's a little safer as a choreographer to not have him throwing a punch and the other actor knowing when to turn the head or whatever. With a chop, maybe it's a little, I don't know. I'm not a movie guy like that, but
Yeah, I just can't
thank you for
imagine it works in real life very well.
no. I would love for you to just chop me instead of punch me in the face. Just chop.
Yeah, it would actually probably hurt your hand more
I know,
than
right?
anything else.
So man, I'm loving this. Like I said, the Italian Connection, man, definitely. This set right here, once again, is a banger, and I'm gonna keep talking about it. The Raro video, you can get the individual discs like Ian's got, or this set right here, which has Caliber 9, the Italian Connection, the Boss, and Rulers of the City. All four of those on one set, man. It's a banger. So far, I've seen two of the four, and both of them have been excellent movies, man. They've just been really strong. So it's like, man, I don't know how the other two are going to go, Ian. Who knows? But those two are worth that whole set alone, just having them two. But what are the next episode? What are we going to be covering on?
So, did we want to do both films or just one of them? What do you think?
Let's just go ahead and knock it out. We'll do both of them.
Okay. Okay, so we've got Il Boss, The Boss with Henry Silva in it. And that will be the third one of the Milan Milieu trilogy. Those three are considered the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And then this next one, Rulers of the City, aka Mr. Scarface with Jack Palance. That's a different crime movie that Di Leo directed, but it is still part of the Fernando Di Leo collection from Raro Video, the first volume. So,
Awesome.
and this one also has Al Cliver in it, who you know from Zombies and Black Cat, the Lucio Fulci movies. So, and The Beyond, actually, he's in The Beyond as well. So he's an actor you would all know, and he plays a really major important part in this as well.
Oh, this is going to be a blast. Two movies on the next episode, listeners. Two. So yeah, get it. It's The Boss and Rulers of the City. We're going to be checking those out, and we'll be reviewing them on the next episode. I want to ask that you go to landofthecreeps.blogspot.com. Landofthecreeps.blogspot.com. Go on the right side of the toolbar. When you come to the website, there'll be a toolbar over to the side. Click store. Head to the store and get you some LOTC swag, man, whether it's a shirt or you can get stickers and all kinds of stuff. But there's some Black Glove Mystery stuff over there we'd love for you to buy and support the show. You can walk around with your Ian Irza shirt or GregaMortis shirt or LOTC shirt. That would be awesome. I would love to see it. And if you do, take pictures and send it to us, man. Email us at gregamortis666@gmail.com or hit us up on Facebook. And man, we'll share that. Would love to see people, wearing the swag, and I thought,
Yeah, for
it'd be kind of
sure.
cool, man. It'd be awesome. And with that said, we also want you to support conventions. Go out there and check them out. I know they got an expensive, man, but I'm gonna tell you, man. Sometimes you can find some like Ian. You've seen some in the last year that are just some heavy hitters. Even some in Italian cinema, man. So go out there and try to meet these people before they're gone, man, because we're getting to that age now where a lot of our heroes are.
I am really hoping that Schiller Theater does another Italian invasion at some point. That'd be awesome because that's the one I usually go to every year. And if they get Italian people again, I'm going to be really excited because I know one year they got a ton of them, and
Mhm.
now if they got another one, it would be amazing. It's been about 10 years since they had a bunch of Italian people there, so they're due, I think, for another one.
We need to make that happen, and I will make a trip for that one for sure.
Yeah.
I will be there. But man, this has been exciting. I hope you, the listeners, have enjoyed this. I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. So if you're new and you just came over to watch the show, hit that subscribe button up there. We would love that. Stay tuned because every other Friday you will get a Black Glove Mysteries episode released right here, as well as some other stuff that I've got, whether it's movie collections or movie reviews or just random weird stuff. I might talk wrestling on here. You never know what I'm gonna put on this YouTube channel, but we'll always try to keep some content rolling. And at least every other Friday, you're gonna get the podcast here. So I hope you'll enjoy that and stick around for that. So Ian, in closing, man, what do you got for your final thoughts and some plugs for you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Urzanomics. You can add me on Facebook if you want. You can follow me on Letterboxd if you just type my name in.
Yep, check those out. Check out his blog site. Uh, And all these are over on landofthecreeps.blogspot.com. So if you're over there looking at the store, go ahead and click on the actual episode, and there's show notes. You can just click on each link, takes you right there. It's super easy. and you can find wherever all these sites are at, and then you can bookmark them. That way you don't have to go back hunting for them. You just go right to the bookmark. Bam, you're there. So for me, you can always follow us at Facebook, Instagram, X, all them spots, and emails, GregaMortis666 at gmail.com, all those good stuff. And before we end here, now, if you're listening to this on audio, you're going to get to hear us talking Mortis Vision next. And that's going to be with my wife and I and special guest unknown caller. We're going to be looking at a TV series, so stay tuned for that. But if you're watching this right now, then you're going to end the show. So, Ian, this has been a blast. I hope you, the listeners, love it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next episode. Once again, Fernando Di Leo, and it's going to be the boss and rulers of the city. Where's that? There it is. The boss and rulers of the city. That's the next episode. So until next time, we're going to see you on the flip side. Help keep horror alive. Do that one movie at a time, one review at a time, as well as get your jolly on. Peace.